Hey everyone, this is a video for Mini Project 3.1. So we'll start with reading the beginning. So simple interest. Because simple interest is used on short-term notes, the time period is often given in days rather than months or years. So just make sure you understand a banker's year is 360 days, not a full 365. So first question. Use the banker's year to describe above to answer this question. So to complete the sale of a house, you accept a 200-day note for $9,000 at 7% simple interest. Okay. Both the interest and the principal are repaid at the end of the 200 days. Wishing to use the money sooner for the purchase of another house, you sell the note to a third party for $9,103 after 90 days. What annual simple interest rate will the third party receive for this investment? Express your answer as a percentage. Okay. So first, what you need to do is compute. If you borrow $9,000, okay, after the 200 days, what is that $9,000 going to turn into? So essentially, the first part is we need to find what is our A. First part, we're going to find A. So we're going to use the formula A equals P simple interest formula. So what is the information that we have? So we can mark in our problem that our, we would have our, this would be our R, and this would be our T that we would use to get it. So it would be 200, remember, over the banker's year, 360. So if T was 1, then it would be a full banker's year. All right. But T would be that fraction. So let's find out what our A is. Let's plug everything in. Now you can use your calculator, or you can use Desmos, whatever you need to simplify this. And I forgot to plug in the P there, so let me make that adjustment. Okay. So if you simplify what's in the parentheses here, the 0.07 times the fraction there, and then we add 1 to it, so we get this. Get some repeating decimal here, so 1.038888. Okay. Then A would be 9,350. So it says here, what is the annual simple interest rate will the third party receive for this investment? Okay. So you want to think this amount is supposed to go to 9,350, but what happens? You sell it, right? So you're taking this investment and it hasn't actually got to the 9,350 yet. So what are you going to do? You sell it after, in this case, after 90 days. Okay. So then how many days are left? Okay. So that'd be 110. So we can make a note here, 110 days left. Okay. So, and I'm looking for what is the annual simple interest rate that the third party will receive for their investment. Okay, so there's a few ways to do this, but you can think of it as that if I know that I have to get to this amount, so this is after you sold it, I need to get to this, right? What's the principal that I have? Well, the principal, remember, what did those people, the third party, pay for it? They paid that. And then what's my rate? I don't know. That's what I'm trying to find, right? So I'll leave R there. And then what's my T? Well, if there's 110 days left, then they're going to have this as their time, 110. So part of the problem is if you, just to kind of go over this question again, because we're not done, we're trying to figure out if we do 9,000 at this many days at this interest, what will be at the end? What will our A value be, right? You can think, well, this mature too. So if I sell this to someone at, you sell the note to a third party for this much money after you've had this for 90 days, they have to figure out what should their rate be to get to that 9,350. Okay. So we can simplify this a bit. So there are some shortcuts in your book. Okay. You can do a few other things here. I will distribute the 9,103. Okay. So I'm going to subtract the 9,103. And then pretty much I'm going to divide by these two things here that are being multiplied to R. So I moved this term over, and then I'm going to subtract by, I did the subtract by 9,103, and then divide by what's being multiplied to the R. So check with your calculator. You should get around this percentage. So practice. Okay, do that subtraction up top, do that one division, and then do the second division there. So check with calculator. So let's look at the next question, and I think this wants you to round to the nearest 3 decimal places. Okay. So we could say this is, let's see, express your answer as a percentage. So 8.801, something like that. Okay. So T-bills or treasury bills are ones of the instruments that the Treasury Department uses to finance public debt. So if you buy a 280 T-bill with a maturity value of $20,750 for $20,495, what is the annual simple interest rate? So what this is asking for is, if I remember, mature is that A, what you're going to get at the end. What you purchase it for would be your P. So what are we looking for? We're looking for the rate again. Okay. So it's very similar to the previous problem. We're looking for that rate. So just to kind of emphasize a few things. We know we have our P because that's what we purchased it for. We know this is our A. R, we're unsure, but we know that it's 280-day T-bill, so T would be 280 over 360. And I think you can simplify this to 7/9. Okay, so let's plug everything in. So A is what the maturity value is. And 1 plus R, I don't know. So very similar. I'm going to distribute to both terms. So this number times that fraction, I'll do a few decimal places. I'll get 15,940.79667 times R. And then last but not least, I'm going to subtract the non-R term. So I'm going to move this term over. I'm going to move this term over. So let's cross out. So I get 254.69 equals 294.78667 times r. And then we need to divide by what's in front of the r because we want to solve for r. So doing that, check with your calculator, you get 0.0159. And this one's the same, so there should be an 8 here. So converting this to a decimal, move the decimal over 2 places to the right to convert to a percent. So it would be 1.598. So this is the simple interest rate. So thanks for watching. Look forward to the next video.